In this week's episode of the podcast, we have 5 top tips for plumbers out there, solopreneurs for 2026 wanting to grow and to move forwards. What is the best that you can do as a homeowner as we're coming into the spring for your boiler and for your heating system to try and save money and reduce repair costs as we come into the winter season? We have a history section and what's been happening here at Gaslec. But first of all, here's my friend Sean to tell you a bit more about the podcast. Are you a new person coming into plumbing and heating? Are you a homeowner that likes a bit of DIY? Or are you a business owner and want a bit more knowledge before you make some decisions on your plumbing and heating? Stay tuned to the podcast and hopefully we'll be able to help you out with some of your questions. And welcome to the show. And this is episode 101. So we're into the triple digits. I'm going to have to dig out some new numbers because I don't think the letters there being described as numbers are going to wash that well as we move forwards. So we have 5 top tips for you self-employed guys out there. You're running your small business in some sort of trade, may not just be in plumbing and heating. I've got some great tips for you to really implement that to move forwards, to save you some of the pains that you may get when you start to become a little bit more established and start to grow the business. First things first, number 1, don't name your business after you. So what we're trying to do as business owners, as entrepreneurs in the space, we're trying to build a business and we want to be able to sell it. Now, whether you sell it or not, whether you've got no intentions of selling your business, it's a really good practice to get into that mindset to try and get the business as economical as possible, as frugal as you can, really, working as efficiently as possible. And so if you're pretending you're going to be selling the business, you want to be able to get the numbers right, get the numbers fruit and juicy, get the systems and process, get your management team into place. So when you do come to sell it, it's already there and established. So one of the things that we, us tradies do, we love naming our businesses, and I've done that over the years as well, after ourselves. But when we come to then sell that, how then do you sell Sean Moore, in my case, as a business to another company for them to absorb it into their company and to their existing empire themselves. So give it a name. I've named it Gaslec here at Gaslec Towers for that very, very reason. So, if we ever did get to that point and we're trying to sell the business to move forwards, retirement, etc., because we ain't all going to live forever, it just gets it in that really sellable position. So first things first, don't name it after you. Second top tip for you guys is to make sure you get a CRM, a customer relation management system. So we use Powered Now here at Gaslec. So all of our customers' details, all of our all the photos, all the notes, all the invoicing, all the quotes is all into one central place. And that's all protected along with the data protection system as well, because it's all cloud-based. So you've got none of that GDPR stuff to worry about. There are other systems out there. We used to use Gas Engineer software. But unfortunately, it wasn't expanding at the rate that we was. It's come on a long time in the last sort of 3 years that we sort of left that platform. But it wasn't sort of moving as quickly as we was for some of the stuff that we now get with Powered Now. Powered Now isn't perfect. ServiceMate only use Apple telephones. We've all got Android here, so it would be an expensive changeover. So we went to Powered Now. But get that CRM in early. All your history of your jobs, when you went there, all your notes on it, your job sheets, your pictures. And that's all in the history section. We go back to the early days before I had a CRM. And then we start to scratch around in old paper diaries and all of that business. You don't need that anymore. It's not that expensive. So get yourself a CRM as soon as possible. Number 3, make sure your branding, your colours, your uniform are all the same. It's so easy to go out there and, we use grey here for Gaslec, but to go, oh, I've got a deal on this here or this colour here, I've got some white ones, I've got some black ones, I've got some red ones. You want to keep everything the same. So when customers see your van, it's the same, whether you change your vans or not, all the sign writing is exactly the same, using the same colours. Well, classically here we use red and blue, hot and cold, for those out there. But yeah, so we use red and blue as our colours. So all the stuff that we do, all the marketing, we like to use the red and the blue to link in with everything that we do. Now we're only quite small here. We only employ 8 at the moment. Hopefully 10 by the summer, but we only employ 8 at the moment. So we're still relatively quite small, even within the Medway towns here. But it's really important to get those foundations right from the beginning, and then you can start building onto that. And when you do bring new team members on, you're already carrying that flag. We're already dressed like this. We already act like this for our customers. So it's really, really important. And you just carry that momentum on. Number 4, never going to be a popular one, this one. Make sure you pay your profits and you pay your taxes. So if you're limited, you'll pay corporation tax. Make sure that you pay corporation tax every year. Now, people say, oh, you're mad, trying to build up profit, should we be reinvesting it into? Yes, 100%. We do that here. We reinvest it into tools. We reinvest it into training. We invest it into new vans and systems and process, 100%. But you need to make sure that at the end of the year, you're still showing a profit and you're paying tax on it. And one of the biggest things is, for looking at selling your business into the future, and if you've got this nice history of making a profit, but it's also to do with lending. Now, if you ever need to borrow money for a building, to buy a fleet of vans, if you suddenly had a massive contract land on your lap, and you can't grow one person at a time, and you need to take 10 people on very, very quickly, you may have to borrow some money for all the deposits on the vans, etc., or all on the tools. So if you've got this lovely history of paying corporation tax and it goes through your books for the past years, it really shows that you're serious about business. You're not milking every single last copper coin out of it, and that paying corporation tax really shows that to the bank as well. So number 5, so this is the last one, which is charging clients for the end result and not your hourly rate. Now, this is something we've been going on with here at Gaslec, and I've been talking to the admin team. So customers that want to book and pay for you, which it's a bit of a difficult one to get your head round, but who actually wants a plumber, one of us guys, or a carpenter or electrician, or whoever, who actually wants us there for half an hour or for an hour? Do they really want the job solved and the problem, whether you're planing down a door or that flickery light or whatever it is, do they want that solved, or do they want you there for a fixed amount of time? Now, if you ask a customer, ultimately, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to be here and hang around and do stuff, or do you want the problem? Do you want the result of what you're calling us here for? And they'll always say they'll want us there for the result, to get it done. But then the time aspect starts coming in. So how much do we had this with a customer a few weeks ago. The customers, we turned up, we solved the problem. So it's not all about time, it's all about the 10,000 hours worth of experience that we have to be able to rectify that problem in such within 15 minutes of turning up, take care of it, done, dusted, and off we go. But the customers felt that they're being treated unfairly because we charged them an hourly rate for the call out. So I said to the admin team, we don't charge an hourly rate. We'll come out as a call out, we'll assess it, and we'll see if we can get that job done while we're there. It's a bit of a tricky one on how to word it to the clients, because I do like to be transparent with everybody, with the clients, so they know what they're getting. The guys, they know what is expected of them. So it's a bit of a tricky one, but that's what you need to start putting your focus into. We're charging you for the outcome, for the result, for that problem to go away, that leak to be stopped fixing, or stop dripping, whatever it will be, it doesn't matter. But yeah, we're charging for the outcome and not for our time. So, as homeowners, what should you do this spring? So we've started to turn the corner now. I'm recording this on Bank Holiday Monday. So we had Easter Sunday yesterday, all back to work, tomorrow being Tuesday. So what should you do? We're starting to get warmer days now as we're coming through. We had a bit of a chilly one last week, certainly here down in the southeast. Up in the north, they had Storm David and they were experiencing some snow up in the higher grounds. But generally, as we're starting to move through the month of April and into May, we're in the spring season. All the daffodils are out, and we're starting to turn off our heating systems. So I've got a couple of tips for you guys out there to reduce the amount of call outs you're going to be having to make coming into the winter season. So make sure you get your boiler serviced. So there's a couple of things with this. So if you're on a service plan, we offer service plans here at Gaslec, we'll actually adjust our service plans to bring them in line for this sort of time of year. So what we want to do is we want to get your boiler serviced, make sure it's nice and clean after a bit of a hard, busy winter. Make sure everything's tip-top inside. Any leaks are taken care of and all those little niggles. If it's condensed water that's leaking inside the boiler, that is acidic, that's corrosive, very similar to a vinegar, the pH. That will start eating through the casing. And as soon as you start getting holes in the boiler casing, a lot of the time when it gets too bad, that's it, finito bonito. Unfortunately, it's now become too uneconomical to repair. So getting those little things done, keeping on top of that. Obviously, if you've got your boilers under warranty, you'll need to keep it serviced under warranty. But from the boiler side, from the manufacturer side, they want that anniversary date to be honoured. So just have a look at that there of when you actually had the boiler installed. Make sure your heating system is clean. So a bit of a tricky one to do yourself as a homeowner, but what you can do is if you've got a bit of a modern radiator, you may have a drain valve or an air bleed valve on the top. And you can open that and fire it into a teacup, say, or a glass tumbler that you'd have your orange squash in. And fire the water in there and let that run maybe sort of about an inch deeper water, around that sort of 25 mil, and then turn it off, and then to have a look at what the colour of the water and what it looks like. Is there any little bits flying around in it, little black bits? Is it a bit dark and grey? And when after about 20 minutes or so, does it look clear and there's a bit of a black sort of scum on the bottom where all the heavy deposits have now settled down inside the liquid? If you've got that there, you really do need to get your heating system clean. Now, if we leave that all summer, when we actually now come round to the winter season, that now starts causing blockages within radiators, within valves, or within pipes. If we've got like a combi boiler, every time we fire up the hot water, which we will need all summer long anyway, that will turn the pump and get that bit running, but all your heating system will be absolutely stagnant. And the same for your regular boiler as well. So check your pressures to make sure your boiler pressure is sitting where it should be. Check for leaks around the boiler, have a look underneath, get a torch out on your phone, and just to see if it's all looking all okay. Remember some of these leaks that if you do leave them, they don't get any better and they can cause a lot of damage. So be proactive with this sort of stuff rather than reactive. And the biggest tip of all, one of the biggest call outs we get is people that turn off the thermostatic radiator valves, the head, the 1 to 5 heads for the temperature settings. They turn them down to the off or 0 position. Now what that is, there's a spring inside there on a pin and it pushes the pin down. And then when we come along in the spring and the winter time, we then open it up and the pin stays stuck down. because it's been in that position for absolute months, and all the rubbish and the crud of the heating system sort of not dries around it, but sort of congregates and goes hard and holds the thing down. And now we're getting radiators that are not being able to perform. And generally what we didn't get it last year because the winter period coming in was actually quite a gradual one. But if we get that sudden snap end of September, October, we can have 300 phone calls here at Gaslec, and all of your local plumbing and heating companies will be exactly the same. So if you're now turning on your boiler and your heating system for the first time, and you've had all your radiators set to 0 and they're not pinging up, you're getting a call out. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be tricky, and it could have been massively avoided by not turning the valves all the way off. So that is my top tips for you homeowners out there, guys, for this spring coming into the summer. So the history section. So I do find it sometimes quite difficult to try and find little history bits for us here at Gaslec to talk about on the podcast. So this week we're going to talk about a guy called Ivan Cowell, an American fella, but back in 1940 he developed something that we all use, and in 1943 the application for the patent was filed and approved, and that was the simple and humble plumbing olive. So made out of two materials. This one made out of two materials, so made out of copper and out of brass. This one's obviously made out of brass, and we actually call them olives. They don't call them that in the rest of the world, but we call them olives here within the UK. And it was this watertight seal between two sort of pipes, a brass fitting and a water pipe, and for gas as well. And he invented that in 1940, and what a fantastic little bit of kit that is. So we get plumbing olives really. I've never come across them at 4mm, but they go from 4 to 54mm in metric. And in imperial, we're looking at 3/8 to 1.5 inches. When you start looking at AC systems, down in the quarter and the 3/8, you tend to flare the fittings out, so you don't actually use olives. So we've used 6mm before on some very small sort of LPG stuff. But coming up onto sort of 4mm, I've never come across that sort of size. That is going to be tiny. That's what's the diameter of the pipe inside? It's going to be, maybe it's for testing stuff or for pilot assemblies, maybe, that sort of gear. But yeah, 4 to 54mm. So let's thank Irwin Cowell for that there. Guys, I'm dyslexic. I'm not very good at reading, certainly reading names. So what have we been up to? So after last week's frightening episode we recorded that absolutely went out with a bang, we are still in here finding, I'll call it our Britain's Got Talent golden buzzer bits of gold confetti cannon that went off. Those who saw the episode, there is the there is the full episode which I've saved, which I might put out one day as a bit of a blooper. There's a bit of swearing on it. I don't want to swear on the podcast. I want to keep it all great and family friendly. But yeah, it absolutely went everywhere. It took the balloon out. But have a watch of episode 100 at the intro, and hopefully it'll make you laugh. It made my heart skip a beat, and I've got a few more grey hairs after that episode. So obviously we've had the bank holiday for the Easter weekend, so the team finished on Thursday afternoon coming round. I'm recording this on bank holiday Monday after Easter, so they're all back in tomorrow after the Easter break, so hopefully they're all nice and refreshed and had a lovely time. We've had some staff had some holiday as well last week, which is absolutely amazing. I love that. So our reactive heating system season has finished, so we're starting to transition into the sort of the proactive side of what we do within the plumbing and heating industry. Obviously the builders are building, so we start getting a bit of first and second fix. I don't work a lot with builders, be honest. Don't work too. Yeah, not really. So, but there is a few that we sort of respect out there that we do work for. But generally across the board, a lot of plumbers are out there getting that done. So yeah, we're looking at some new vans for the Gaslec team. So I'm looking at getting that sorting, getting some things moved around, sort of planning ahead. We're looking at getting the Nissan Prima Stars van. It's got a 5-year warranty over the Renault Traffic, sort of 3 years. And I do like that shape and size of the Renault Traffic. So we're probably going to go with the Nissans and go for the autos as well, just to make it a little bit easier on the guys when we're doing so many jobs around there rather than the manual. And it's not a lot more, about £1.5 more, I think it is, from the manual to the auto. Haven't got to worry about a clutch and all of that sort of wear and tear from that side. So yeah, that's what we're going to be getting done. We get some more commercial clients on board. We had a couple of parish councils. We had 2 quotes to do on the same day. So not had one for a little while, and suddenly we get 2 come over the line. So we're going through that with the, obviously it's got to go to the committee and stuff because you're spending the parish's money. We've got a lot of team training in place over the summer. Obviously, we've been growing the Gaslec team. We want to get everybody's skills up to where they should be and make sure that we're all exactly the same on where we are. I've got some retakes on my gas as well this year, but yeah, so we're starting to get all that into place as well. We had the community giveaway last week, which went down well. That was the make and take craft sessions that we gave away with TC Craft Studios, which is a couple of doors up from here at Gaslec Towers. That went down really, really well. And from the feedback that I got, all the children absolutely enjoyed it. So fantastic. That's really good. I've got my gas safe inspection this week, so it's tomorrow being Tuesday, so when this comes out. It's always a worrying time when the inspector comes along, and it's a new one too. But of all the gas safe inspections I've had over the years, do you know what? They've all been great. They're all ex-gas engineers. They know what the crack is. Don't try and pull the wool over their eyes because they're too long in the tooth for that. So yeah, obviously they've got a set of boxes to tick that they need to come out and make sure that, you know, you're doing what you're doing and you're doing it in a safe manner. So I've got that this week as well. So that wraps up this week's episode of the podcast. So thank you very much indeed for listening, guys. If you entered the competition last week, we'll be doing that draw Tuesday tomorrow, and that'll be Tuesday I'm trying to find the date on this watch, the 7th of April. So we've got 3 prizes to give away for collection here at Gaslec Towers. So you take care, guys. Have a fantastic week. If you've got any questions, email us at podcast@gaslec.net and we'll get those answered. And if you want to join in with the show, email us in, or if we can help out with any of your domestic or commercial plumbing and heating or air conditioning, email us at office@gaslec.net. You take care, guys. All the best. Have a great week. Goodbye.